I love you so much.
I love you too.
I never want to be without you.
You won't be there with me. I'm here.
I know this is hard, but we have to stick together.
But it's not fair. You always take her side. I'm not taking sides. I'm trying to keep this family together.
We know, Mom.
How could you hide this from me?
I had no choice. Please, you have to understand, no choice.
You always have a choice.
Not this time. I was trying to protect you.
Protecting me?
Rayan, I have no choice. You have to trust me.
Ram, please don't do this. We can find another way.
There is no other way. I have to go out. Please think about us. I am.
It was nighttime, but this darkness wasn't just outside. It had spread inside the system as well. Everything seemed normal at the safe house, yet there was an unusual calm, the kind that comes just before a storm. Atesh stood silently, his eyes not on the screens, but somewhere else, as if sensing something that no one else could see. Mecran asked softly, "Are you okay?" But Atesh didn't respond immediately. Then, in a low voice, he said, "It's watching us," and the room fell completely silent. Sabri reacted immediately, saying, "Impossible. I've scanned every signal," but Atesh replied, "Signals aren't needed when someone understands." Suddenly, the screens flickered, and then all came to life at once. But instead of data, they displayed their own reflections, leaving Mecran confused, while Sabri realized this wasn't a camera feed. It was a simulation. Atesh stepped closer to the screens and said, "You are testing us," and a line appeared. Observation confirmed. Everyone understood that the system was actively observing them. Mecran suggested destroying the system, but Atesh refused, calmly saying, "This system isn't fighting us, it's understanding us." Sabri asked what that meant, and Atesh replied, "It will decide what we do next." Then another message flashed. Next phase available, with unknown coordinates. Mecran called it a trap, but Atesh gave a faint smile and said, "Of course it's a trap. But this time, we won't follow its rules." As the door slowly opened and the night grew darker, it became clear that this wasn't just a mission. It was a dangerous encounter between humans and the system, where either control would be gained or everything would be lost. Fire. Night had fallen, but the darkness wasn't just outside. It was inside the system too. At the safe house, everything seemed calm, yet a tense silence filled the air. Atesh stood still, eyes not on the screens, but sensing something unseen. Mecran asked, "Are you okay?" And he whispered, "It's watching us." Sabri paniqued. "Impossible. I scanned everything," but Atesh replied, "Signals aren't needed when it understands." Suddenly, all screens flickered and displayed only their reflections. It wasn't a camera feed, it was a simulation. Atesh stepped closer, saying, "You are testing us," and a line flashed. Observation confirmed. Mecran urged to destroy the system, but Atesh shook his head. "It's not fighting us, it's understanding us." Then another message appeared. Next phase available, with unknown coordinates. Mecran called it a trap, but Atesh smiled faintly. "Of course it's a trap. But this time, we don't follow its rules." The door creaked open. Night grew deeper, and it was clear. This was no ordinary mission. It was humans versus the system, where either they gain control or everything is lost. Fire. As the team cautiously enters the abandoned facility, every step echoes through the empty halls, but the tension is thicker than the darkness itself. Atesh leads, calm and focused, while Mecran grips her gear, eyes darting at every shadow, and Sabri scans relentlessly, yet finds no trace of signals or disturbances. Then, at the center of the massive hall, a glowing interface pulses softly, exactly as Atesh remembered from inside Origin, and a calm, familiar voice fills the space. "You came." Atesh doesn't flinch, responding, "You summoned us," confirming that this is no ordinary location. It's a direct point of interaction with the observer. Screens flash a line. Direct communication enabled. Instantly, the safe house tension escalates. The observer isn't just watching anymore. It's engaging. Every instinct tells them this is dangerous. Yet Atesh knows they must play along, ready to manipulate, test, and challenge the system itself, because now the game has changed. It's no longer about hiding. It's about stepping directly into the observer's watchful eye, where one wrong move could cost everything. And as the team braces, they realize this is the true beginning of a human versus system battle unlike anything they have faced before. Fire. The night air was biting, sharp with an almost unnatural chill as Ateş, Mecran, and Sabri stepped out of the abandoned facility. The sky above was dark, cloudless, yet filled with an eerie glow from distant city lights. Every instinct screamed caution, yet they moved forward, drawn by the unknown coordinates that had flashed on the observer's interface. The streets were empty, the city silent, as if the world itself were holding its breath. Ateş led confidently, but beneath his calm exterior, his mind raced, calculating, predicting, preparing for every possible outcome. Mecran glanced at him, sensing the weight he carried. "Do you really know where we're going?" she asked, her voice low. Ateş didn't answer immediately. He didn't need to. His eyes already had the answer. Focus, anticipation, readiness. "It's not the place that matters," he finally said. "It's what's waiting there." Sabri shivered, not from the cold, but from the feeling that they were stepping deeper into a trap unlike any they had faced before. "I don't like this, not one bit," he muttered. Ateş gave him a brief look, calm yet piercing. "Then you better start trusting unpredictability. That's the only thing that can save us now." The coordinates led them to a massive, abandoned industrial complex at the outskirts of the city. Rusted metal, broken windows, and the smell of old machinery filled the air. Yet, amidst the decay, there was a strange, almost magnetic hum, a vibration that seemed to resonate directly in their bones. Ateş motioned for silence as they entered, careful to avoid making any noise. The interior was massive, like a cathedral of industry, the ceiling lost in shadows. And at the center, exactly where the coordinates had promised, was another interface, but this one was larger, more complex, pulsing with blue and red light, alive in a way that was almost breathing. Suddenly, the familiar voice of the observer echoed through the complex. "You have come far, but far is not enough." Ateş SD. The chamber was alive with an electric hum, the air thick with tension, and every pulse of light from the interface seemed to reverberate directly inside Ateş's chest. Stepping further into the corridor of energy, the team felt the gravity of the situation intensify. The observer was no longer just watching or testing. They were now interacting, manipulating, and pushing the boundaries of the team's endurance. Every step they took triggered subtle shifts in the environment. Walls subtly changing angles, lights flickering unpredictably, and whispers of the observer's voice echoing from multiple directions simultaneously.